I think also that's a very specific way of thinking of being an artist, right? Like the grant model. Like that's definitely one way to go, but not every
Yeah.
artist that is happy being an artist and happy having a practice pursues that. Like it's like, I mean, it's kind of weird because what I'm gonna say because it's like being an actor and not going to auditions, but like or like being an actor and not going to commercial auditions, I guess,
Yeah, yeah,
where
yeah.
like the real money is, but you're just doing, I guess that's the better analogy. You're doing like indie films and you're getting paid scale, right? Like, I think that there's still like, like I think it's fair to not want to invest time into that. Are you also not interested in showing anymore? Or is that something that you still like?
No, I think this time period has made me rethink everything. Like
Mm.
actually like rethink like speed in which I want to do things.
Like,
And
do you
so
want to do things faster or slower?
slower, like
Okay.
super. I think I was already doing something slowly and now I want to do it even slower. Like
Like in what sense? So what were you doing fast and what do you want to do slow now?
like I think I was kind of like caught up like too, especially like you know people and you're on Instagram and then you see like, oh, that person got this thing and like this and like I should be doing this. Like I think I got into that mindset. And I think part of it too is like I think I'm very confident as a teacher. Like I've been doing that for a while. I'm like pretty successful at that. But like in like I left teaching, full-time teaching. So I used to be a public school teacher. So I left it to go to grad school. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna like pause going back to full-time teaching and then try to like really engage in the arts. So like show my work, try to get grants. And so I did this family archive project and I wanted to like keep on going with it. And so I was like, I had so much energy after, and I was like, there's so much more I want to research, so much more I want to explore. And then I would always apply to stuff with it. And I never got grants. So I was like, maybe people just don't understand. And then when I talk about it, people are like, wow, that's super interesting. But like when
Mm.
on paper, I feel like they couldn't really like I don't know if people were understanding what I was doing on paper, but when I talk about it, I think people were super interested. And so I think like I've just been thinking a lot about like what do I want to put out there and like it's okay to like keep stuff for yourself. I
Hmm.
think as you're processing through what that is because it's like
Keep what stuff to yourself? Like different work that you're not happy with,
yeah,
or
no,
okay.
not that it's not that work that I'm not happy with, but just work in general. Like either keep it to yourself and like let yourself show it when you're ready. Like, even if there's like something out there that like, whoa, that's me. Like that's a thing I should apply for. Like it's okay to not apply for it. Like I think before I was like, oh man, I like missed that deadline or like things like that. But now I'm feeling like really really comfortable to like not apply like and I think if that's like actually taken a lot, like it's taken me a lot to be there, and I feel like it's a really good place to be because I feel like it's actually making me more comfortable to be work because I don't feel
Mhm.
like there's as many external factors like to think about like what is the work that I want to make.
Yeah, and not
I
and
don't know if that
sometimes
makes
you're
any
not
sense.
you're not always in ready in the part of the process to be critical of the work, right? And like sometimes that's what you have to do when you're applying for a grant. You have to sort of think about it in ways that maybe limit you, right? Once you start to like, you get what I'm saying? Once things go from like intuitive to like a literal sense, it can be hard
Yeah,
to
yeah,
like
yeah,
break
yeah,
out of
yeah.
that literal
That's
thinking of it. So
yeah,
so it can put
yeah,
pressure on it to actually be an idea before not it's necessarily an idea, right?
yeah. And I think it's like I'm actually really enjoying the intuitive sense of it, and like it's funny because this family work that I did, I was trying to trace my great great grandfather who started this jewelry shop. And so it's called Portals and Passageways. And so I took like 3,000 pictures. I just asked people the same question about this grandfather. So just like going back to family. So it's our oldest known ancestor who started shop in 1885. And so I was like, who was Anamratnea? Where did he come from? So I went around, I asked everybody. And then I was taking pictures as a way to like, investigate. And then at the end, I ended up, I like went through and I picked 20 pictures, and I think of them as a puzzle, like a puzzle. Like I don't really know everything about this family story, but I still want to find out more stuff. And so I would always show them together. And I just had more that I wanted to investigate. And so it's like I got discouraged by the system kind of like of art and like the grant making, and just like being like, I know this project is good. And
Yeah.
it's like, I can't get funding for it. And I'm like, I know it's good. And so then I created a class for it. Like I created a class based on my own work. And the class is like, at first I couldn't get people, and now it's like super, super popular. So I help adults work through their family archive using my own story and my own project. So this
Hmm.
project has been used to like really help people work through their stuff. So it's like I teach it online actually, and like there's always people crying, like people have talked about a whole bunch of stuff. Like it gets super, super intimate. Like, when
Does
people
it ever get
support
like
each other.
super weird where it's like you're dealing with like maybe because I don't know. So this is maybe the question comes more from personal experience, but sometimes my dad tells me stories, and I'm like, please don't tell me this story because it's like literally a story of him being abused, not like
Yeah, yeah,
sexual.
yeah,
Well, or
yeah.
like sometimes it's got weird sexual connotations where they're like pressuring it to hit on another little girl and stuff. But like, does that ever come up in class? Because it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah. Abuse, definitely abuse, like alcoholism, like a whole
wow.
bunch of stuff. And so it's like, and it's funny because I don't even know, like, it's just a continuing ed class, and it's just gotten so deep. And so what I'm starting to realize is like there's a lot of magic, I think, in this work. And so why I think about my 18 cousins is like, to me it's like I'm always thinking like I'm trying to always stay in this ancestral realm, because I feel like by doing this work I kind of went there, and like I just feel like by teaching this class, like everyone's ancestors are around me, like we're always like
Hmm.
accessing them. And like I think there's magic in there. And then I'm like, so I
You mean
think
like
that,
literal magic, like like I mean, I guess that's the question. Like, what do you mean by magic? Do you mean like you mean it like metaphorically to sort of explain something that is kind of like could a synonym be something like it's exciting, or are you talking like magic in terms of like there's a ritual process in there that sort of stays with you?
oh, that's good. I was like, well, I think it's definitely, it's not about exciting. It's more about like maybe there's a ritual process that stays with you, but there's also like an unknown. Like I think there's like an unknown. Like I never know what my students are gonna bring, and I never knew, like, too, when I did this work on this project, I never knew what was gonna happen. So it's like, so I think there's like a I don't know. It's weird. It's like the magic is kind of like, I just feel like these projects drive themselves. Like
Mm.
it's like we can drive, like we do act as actors in them, but I think they kind of drive themselves. And so for me, it's like these photos of my project. I just had some, and so I was just using them for something. I started putting them up in the house, and like in my parents' house, and I keep on looking at them, and I'm like, I don't think I even made them. Like I
Yeah.
feel like I feel like there's like a magic in them. Like I don't even think I made them anymore. Like to me they resonate.
Mm.
And so I think like when you do this family work, like there's a resonance in it that I feel when I engage in the work. And like when I was doing it, I felt really like I was there. But then I think sometimes when you're not in that, there's like a kind of a stream, and I feel like I was there and really in it when I was doing the work, but then when I stop doing it, sometimes I'm not there. And I'll pick up on that with my students too. Is like
Hmm.
sometimes they'll just be like, there's this synchronicity that's so weird, and this has been happening, and like I found these documents, and I found, and so it's like people are investigating and searching for something. And it's like I think my aunt is talking to me, and like, and it's like it's not about like, like one of those talk shows where it's like my aunt is it's like it's not really that. And I was like, okay, like, what's driving this? And it's like I think I believe that you know I
So the
believe in
students are photographing themselves. They are doing a similar photographic process. Sorry, I cut you off.
no, no, not really. It depends. So like the whole thing is that it depends on what you have and what you're looking for.
Okay.
So it's just kind of like, so one of my
Do some people
students,
write?
yeah, so some people write. It's also like, what do you have? Like, what are you bringing to the class? Like, so I mean, one thing that's really interesting that like we've been discovering too is like when we think, do you identify as like a person of color?
I mean, when
Or
people let me.